Thank you, Jane, and once more, welcome to everyone joining us today as part of this conversation on the importance of preventing arms violence in the context of Nigeria. I am Guy Fugab, I'm the Africa Organizer of World Beyond War, and it's my pleasure to be hosting this meeting together with our Nigeria chapter. I will share a bit more later about what our chapter do in Africa and in the world. But before, I want to mention that we are commemorating the International Day of Peace. That was normally yesterday, 21st September. As it was Sunday, we could not hold this event on Sunday. We are Monday, 22 September, not late to host this event as part of the International Day of Peace. We have in our continent and in the world a lot of struggle. We basically call on peace to reign, and we are actors. We are those who have have choose to make peace happen, and we are here for that. Thanking the Nigeria chapter once more for the effort that they're doing on the ground to make peace happen in Nigeria and in Africa. And I thank you all for being there and for your work every day to make peace possible. We at World Beyond War have this as our mission to end all wars, to make peace happen. And we are convinced that with joint effort, we can achieve that goal. So thank you once more and warm welcome to this webinar. Thanks. Okay, so now it is over to you to speak about an overview of World Beyond War in Nigeria.
Okay, like I said, everyone, please put in your chat box. The moderator is having a little hitches and joining. We can have time to introduce each one of us differently, but please do in your chat box to introduce yourself. We can pick it up from there. And if you are a new someone joining, feel free to be interested to be part of this platform, very unique one. We are peace advocates. So my topic is speaking on understanding armed violence in Nigeria and its impact. Like I said, we are not going to make it a lecture neither. I'm going to make it's a facilitative dialogue program. All I do is to open the ground and we talk together, we reason together, because it is expected that everyone here is experiencing from your region all different kinds of violence. But to give this an opening, I have just 20 minutes for this, my section, and I'm gonna share it with you. I speak in 10 minutes, you interact with me with the 10 minutes. So this is a facilitative dialogue. So if you are a Nigerian here, or you are an African reading a lot about Nigeria, you quite agree with me that Nigeria is among the African countries experiencing severe violence, armed violence. Here in Nigeria, we have different regions. We have the northern part, we have the southeastern part, we have the western part. And these parts are experiencing different kinds of violence, which has caused thousands, if not millions of lives. It is really worrisome in a way that arms are being used without legality. Here in Nigeria, everyone possesses arms illegally, small arms, military arms, nothing is checkmate, and that has been a very worrisome, it's very dangerous, and it's a huge concern. Now, The issue has escalated into different sections. We have kidnapping, ransomly, if you also paid, also they kill. These people are in position of arms. We have the insurgency, we have the banditries, we have criminal related activities, robberies and so forth, if you permit me to mention. This has really retrogressively bring on a development, because the money, the funds, which is appropriated to develop community, which is appropriated to enhance development, are being hugely appropriated for security, and yet the security is not there. So the question is, what is the problem? What is causing all this? And that takes me to the next one. What are the causes of this conflict? I uniformly put it that we have number one, which has to be hugely, which is weak governance. We have very weak governance. Our democracy is fragile. Our leaders are greed. Human life does not mean anything again to a man, neither for our leaders. They are really politicized. It's all about what they gain from governance. Lack of transparency. A lot of factors has been part of this problem. Poverty. People are no longer conscious of morality. It's all about what can I use forcefully to get. So these issues is bedeviled, and arms are used forcefully to get this, because if you didn't kind of submit, maybe an arm will come to your house and you couldn't submit, you use forcefully, and you use something to threaten you so that you bring such positions. The Boko Haram we are suffering from the northern region here use arms, use a lot of weapons. Some are suicidal, bombings and thereabouts. So now this has really caused a lot of problems in Nigeria. High rate of unemployment. We have high rate of youth, especially youth. This program is centered on the youth because the youth are the sufferers. They bear this brunt so much. Limited opportunities. Where the youth need to access opportunity, they can't. The elders are there. They don't want to give the youth chance. But when it comes to violence, when it comes to thuggery, when it comes to perpetrating drug abuse and stuff, is the youth. So this has really impacted us negatively. The rate of development that we are having from decolonization to now, we are expected to have outlived this kind of poverty level, extremely poverty, hardship everywhere. So the problem is our leaders has not really also helped us. I know what I'm saying is cut across all Africa, because I begin to understand that African continent, we have these peculiar issues, common issues together. So the impact has really been huge. What I'm speaking is not a new topic to you. You know it all. But I want us to rub minds so that I see your regions and what is exactly on the long run the cause that is making this so deepened. It's really going deep and deep. Number one is that we have high rate of children out of school because parents cannot really pay school fees. Schools are also shut down in the northern part of Nigeria because of bombing, kidnapping, and stuff like that. So poverty level have made parents not to even a kind of train their children. In the streets, we have youth roaming about. That is really worrisome. And what does? They become vulnerable to drug abuse, vulnerable to thuggeries, vulnerable to all kinds of crimes and criminalities. Another impact is that, like I've said, we're not moving forward on development everywhere. What enhances development is not forthcoming. because our governments are always, the government is always what it can get and keep getting loans and loans, putting a limited resources. The quote they say is huge, but I quite want to disagree, because if you put a kind of huge amount in security and there's adequate checkmates, we would have been having reduction. But now it's a business. It's a business entrepreneur where people get arms, purchase arms, distribute arms. It's really, really worrisome. The impact is that we are having unwanted deaths everywhere. I know death is inevitable, but because of this level of armed proliferation, especially the youth and the agility, the energy is there. The thinking is not yet matured enough. They perpetrate radically, I don't know, they sporadically, they shoot around anyhow they feel, gangsterism, radicalism, and stuff like that. Another impact is that all these things, whether it is in a arms way or ammunition or bombing and stuff, it has environmental impacts. The hazard is there. We are in time of climate change now. All these pollutions everywhere, it also affects human lives. Another worrisome of this impact of violence, like I've just stated, from the region I am, it's some hospitals are epileptic, a kind of dilapidated. Healthcare centers, only few are really functioning because one, some in the remote area has shut down, some has been bombed down, it's not really functioning. The few are not also well equipped. So human well-being is really declining. There's so many impacts of this violence and violence. But permit me to pause there because I'm not speaking a new thing. It's something you already know. But I want you to also share with me what exactly do you, in your region, if you are in Nigeria or in across Africa, I want us also rub minds so that I can also learn from you. Like I say, it's a facilitative dialogue. We didn't come here to lecture. We want to feel each other. You're a professional, you're an expert in your field. What contribution with this topic in line, what contribution do you have? The floor is open. Thank you so much. Yeah, Guy, are you there? The floor is open for contribution.
Yes.
What are the impacts of violence in your region? If you're in Nigeria or in your region as continent of Africa, please let us have your view. Thank you so much.
Yes, so we have people online, so maybe it'd be good that they open the microphone and comment, and I can talk after.
Hello, everyone.
I didn't get to Guy. You said what?
Yes, I said it's better that those attending online can speak. I can open the microphone and comment within the 10 minutes as you allocated, and then I can talk after. Solomon is speaking.
Hello, everybody.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Good evening from here. I'm very glad to be part of this very dialogue. My name is Solomon from Nigeria here. Actually, the opportunity to talk about peace as it pertains to Nigeria and as it pertains to Africa, beyond Africa. Honestly, the problem of youth violence is rampant. In Nigeria here, for example, just as Mama has said about the violence here among the youth, the killing, the destruction, even here on campus. In fact, people don't value their fellow human beings anymore. I don't really know. It's really a problem. Over there in the East in particular, if you see how our youth are being murdered, how they are massacred, there are some set of group they call gunmen. They move here and there. In fact, for no reason, you see our youth, young people being killed, and they join secret society, occultism, so many deadly societies like that. People are getting obsessed with what they that if we at all we can fashion out ways by which we can at least address some of these very challenges. I want to believe that definitely Nigeria will breathe a fresh air. Not only Nigeria, have to say that yes, definitely peace is taking place because it seems as if the word peace is even a mirage. From my own perspective, I see that peaceful society, and then you want to exist with others. But it appears as if the more you make your effort to establish peace, the way it runs. So my question, the question I'm throwing or I'm putting to this very group is what should be the way forward? It's really a challenge. What should be the way forward? And we offer solution. Is there any suggestion that we can work on? Not just for us to talk about it, we can talk it, but putting it to action and then seeing the effects of this very dialogue will be highly appreciated. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Solomon, for this experience sharing. Do anyone else want to open the microphone and share and comment?
Yeah, to refresh
Yes.
of what we are talking about, for those that joined, we just took a section that is saying understanding armed violence in Nigeria and its impacts. Now we want to see what are the impacts of violence in your region, either as Nigeria, you are residents of Nigeria, or across Africa. We just have barely more 7 minutes to round up this section. Am I right, Guy? Is it
Yes.
7 or 5?
There's maybe
Okay.
5 minutes so that we can go quickly. We have Obon raising the hand. Please go ahead.
Okay, please.
Obon, can you open your microphone?
Yes, good evening, everyone. My name is Ubong Effiong. I'm Nigeria. I'm from SERAP, Socioeconomic Rights and Accountability Project, Akwa Ibom chapter. I listened to the topic very well and the summary of the lecture. When we are talking about armed violence, understanding armed violence, we need to understand that, in fact, when there's one stakeholders strategic partnership and advocacy meeting we had on preventing and countering violent extremism in Akwa Ibom State, where security personnel, including the armed forces, the police, and others stakeholders in security sector attended. We discovered that the main issues of this violence actually occur when the public does not have trust on security personnel, public trust on the security personnel. For example, the public, you hear very well in Nigeria that police will be shouting that bail is free. Bail is free. It's actually like a mirage whereby they are just using as a case study camouflage. But when you are going there, the kind of bail they will give you, whether you have commit the crime, you haven't commit the crime, is something so the public, in quotes, does not even have that public trust, the trust in personnel, those security personnel, again, thereby making the entire system to be compromised. Because as citizens of Nigeria, it is very necessary that the security being paid through your taxes, you need to have trust with them, whereby if you have issues, any incident occur within the environment, you can rush into the police station and lay the report. But the case here is different, whereby you are going there to make the report. In fact, they detain you, they demand immediately a bail bond, or in the other way, if you made the report and you left, one person in that same organization will say this person made a report about this person, thereby making the issue to become a kind of complicated, and you cannot even understand. So when we are talking about how the public have trust, understanding the armed violence, we understand very well that all these sectors, they actually need to work hand in hand with the public, because you are serving the public. You need to work hand in hand with them so that the public can actually have trust and can cooperate, work in reporting any of the issues, and if possible, try eradicate all those issues. So thank you so much for now. That is what I have. Maybe in further, I will equally contribute more. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Obong. Really spoken, because this is cutting across not only from the security sector, even the governance. Public trust, participation is declining. Thank you so much. And that will give us another leadway on how we tackle it. Remember, we are peace advocates. So we need to really advocate for the voiceless, those that can't reach, they cannot talk. Thank you for this space. And with this, time may not permit all of us to
Jane, maybe we can allow Shing Praise also had a hand raised, so that we can also allow Shing.
Okay,
Praise, please. Yes,
okay, please.
Can you also open your microphone? Comment.
Just 1 minute, please. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, my name is Shing Praise, and from Cameroon. And when we are talking about Nigeria, Cameroon is a neighbor, and Cameroon is also going through a conflict situation where there is armed violence. And as we are talking now, we are in Bamenda, the capital of the northwest region of Cameroon, and we have just been experiencing a ghost town where we cannot go out to do whatever thing that we want to do. And obviously, this is as a result of bad governance, because if everybody do their job, if everybody, let's say, our administrators are there to save us, but most of the time that is not the case. Just like the previous speaker was talking about the military that are there to protect civilians, but at the end of the day, they don't protect civilians, which are the civilians who depend on them, the civilians who don't have the weapons to also protect themselves. They are very vulnerable. And even when they are innocent, they still extort from them. When they are going through a lot of crisis, they still extort from them. Because presently we are experiencing a crisis situation, an armed conflict, but the civilians are still caught in the middle of everything. So in solving the problems most of the times is difficult, given that there is no political will to do so, because the politicians are eating fat. They are feeding fat from the war, from the violence that is ongoing. Maybe they will create the impression that there's a lot of insecurity. Maybe they have money. So it is high, I don't know, it is high time maybe we collaborate, not just within a particular state, not just working with Nigeria, but working with other African countries to see how we can put our heads together and see how we can work things out. With the conflict in the Northwest and Southwest regions in Cameroon, a lot of people have been forced to move out of Cameroon, and they have been victims of human trafficking. A friend of mine was was deceived for work in South Africa, and presently, based on the information that we have, he is being trafficked in Nigeria. So the armed violence that is in Nigeria is not only affecting Nigeria. The one that is in Cameroon is not only affecting Cameroon, it's affecting Africa. So we need to think as Africa and then see how we can solve, how we can bring peace to Africa. Because if we think individually, and then at the end of the day, we'll still have the same problems because other people will bring theirs to affect us. So we need to put our heads together to see how we can build peace, because peace is possible, but we need to put our heads and everything will be fine. Thank you.
Thank you, Praise, for this. Noting that human trafficking is also part of armed violence because, yes, it displaces people, it makes people uncomfortable in their region, in their homes. Thank you with this. I think the time will not permit us. Please feel free to put your chat contribution. It's a dialogue. We are here together to talk about it. It's not a lecture. So please feel free in the chat box, put all your comments, contribution, question. We will be there to answer. With this, I wrap up this section. Thank you so much as I invite the next speaker, which is One Voice, Victus Ejioku. Mr. Victus, are you here with us?
Yes, good evening. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, please
Yes.
write on second. Yes, you have both every 20 minutes. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. I actually want to appreciate you for putting up this program this evening. This evening here in Nigeria, right? Really. I want to be talking on youth and armed proliferation, its prevention and control. Actually, I want to start by saying that the growing involvement of our young people in this armed proliferation of a teen is one of the gravest threats any country, especially within this West African sub-region, are facing today, because it is something that is taking away the peace and stability of the countries within and around us, especially Nigeria. So when we speak of this proliferation, we are not only talking about the unchecked circulation of guns or ammunitions. We are actually talking about the rise of a culture of violence, a culture that takes root when young men and women lose faith in the society they belong to, when their hope dry up, and when opportunities are shut out. Now, when you look around us, the rise of cultism are there in our universities. The radicalization of youths into insurgency in the northwest of Nigeria, the grip of banditry in the northwest, then the military in the Niger Delta, the militancy in the Niger Delta, and then we talk about the kidnapping scourge that has spread across the country. Now, in almost all these cases, the perpetrators are young people. Now, what we're talking about here is that their energy, instead of driving innovation and building nation, this energy is being hijacked to fuel violence and destruction. Now, in Nigeria, for instance, with its massive youth population, the largest in Africa, I can say, is sitting on both a time bomb and a gold mine. And if this population is left unemployed, uneducated, and disempowered, then the time bomb ticks louder. But if they are harnessed using education, using employment, using empowerment, then it becomes the gold mine that transforms our nations. At this point, let me poke this question. Why do youths carry arms? It is because, is it because they were born violent? The big answer there is no. They were not born violent. What we should look at, the poverty, the drug abuse, peer pressure, the lure of quick money, poor governance, and political manipulation. And when we look at this, we see that all of them create a fertile ground for weapons to thrive. Now, for instance, unemployed graduates recruited by bandit groups are being promised income and a sense of belonging. Why is it so? Because they have nothing, they are not skilled, they have nothing to do apart from getting quick money. Similarly, politicians in the past have armed youths during elections only for those arms to remain in circulation afterwards. At the end, they begin to fuel wider insecurity. But there is always a hope. There is hope. The problem is man-made. The hope there is that if the problem is man-made, so the solution also should be man-made. The same man who made it bad should be the one that will find a way out. So in that case, he has the following options to consider. Let us consider option number one on how to prevent and control armed proliferation. Number one, we need to use education and awareness. There is need for us to make use of schools, religious institutions, and community platforms to educate youth about the consequences of armed proliferation. In the campaigns, we should tell real stories of lives that have been destroyed by violence, contrasting them with stories of lives that are transformed or being transformed by peace building and hard work. Having done that, we talk about the second point, economic empowerment. When young men and women are able to earn a decent living through skills acquisition, through agriculture, through technology, or through trade, the law of picking up arms will naturally diminish. Gainful employment not only secures livelihood, but also restores dignity of the youth. It restores their belonging and hope for the future. Now, practical initiatives such as microloans, vocational training centers, and startup grants have the power to transform lives, especially that of the youth. But unfortunately, many youths feel abandoned by the very governments that should serve and inspire them. They are denied adequate and quality education. They are faced with unfavorable policies, inadequate infrastructure, and so on. While those who manage to establish businesses are made to face multiple taxations with limited access to interventions such as soft loans or grants to push their businesses to higher and sustainable levels. Over time, this neglect has eroded trust and breed disillusionment, causing many of the youth to feel alienated from their own countries. So there are success stories that demonstrate the power of empowerment. In Borno State, Nigeria, for instance, some rehabilitated ex-combatants have successfully transitioned into tailoring and mobile phone repair. Evidence that when youth are given genuine alternatives, they can thrive. But when we abandon them, they can do anything. They are not all that bad at this moment. So many things can be done to harness their potentials. However, I want to say again that empowerment must be inclusive and evenly distributed. Another thing that sparks up trouble or unrest is when empowerment is not inclusive. That is, there is something we call in activities, do no harm. That is to say that, or that is to try as much as possible to be fair, to be equitable, and to be just, so that no one will feel cheated, no one will feel alienated, no one will feel neglected in the course of your doing the work. When such opportunities are concentrated in particular regions or limited to select sect of groups or group of people, there is a risk of fueling resentment. There is a risk of animosity, and there is a risk of even violent protest among those that are left behind. So what I'm trying to say here is this: there is a lot that our leaders need to do so that they will balance issues. The reviews are not to be written off. They are to be brought in so that they too will be part and parcel of the government. Let them know what the government is doing. Because when such opportunities, as I said before, are concentrated in particular regions, those that you leave behind, they will feel bad, and they can even pick up arms. So in the course of trying to prevent it, what we need to do is incorporate them. Let them know what is going on. A nationwide equitable approach is essential to build trust and foster lasting peace. Now, third point is community-based prevention. Now we talk about education. We talk about empowerment. And right now, we are talking about community-based prevention. Now, what do we mean by this? We look at traditional leaders, religious clerics, and civil society organizations. We want them to be proactive. Now, let me give you an example in Plateau State. Community peace committees were formed, and they have successfully mediated disputes before those disputes escalate into violence. This local ownership model should be replicated nationwide. 4, we need to build a stronger policy and enforcement. Nigeria has a porous border that allows weapons to flow in. What the government needs to do is that the government must invest in modern border surveillance, strengthening customs and immigration, and implement smarter disarmament, demobilization, and the reintegration, which we call DDR programs. Now, security agencies must not only seize weapons, but also rehabilitate those who surrendered their weapon. Above all, we must create a new narrative, a narrative where young people see themselves not as foot soldiers of conflict, but as builders of peace. We must remind them that peace is not simply the absence of war. It is the presence of justice, fairness, and hope. On this International Day of Peace, I want to assure us to rise with one voice, or urge us to rise with one voice, to disarm not only our streets, but also the hearts of our young people from anger and despair. We need to replace guns with books. We need to replace bullets with opportunities. We need to replace violence with vision. And the Nigerian country we desire is very possible if only we can invest in our youth today. And when I listened to the first speaker, everything she talked about measured on the causes of this proliferation of arms. Now, all the 3 or 4 points I've mentioned here is to add to what she has just said. Not that I want to talk more than she has spoken. The 4 points I mentioned here is, if we want to control and prevent arms proliferation in Nigeria, there is need for education and awareness of the youth. There is need for economic empowerment of the youth. There is need for community-based prevention of issues that border on troubles that can escalate into insecurity. Then, number 4, there is need for stronger policies and enforcement. I think with this, I will give a chance for others to make contributions on what has been said so far. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Very, very much, and very concise. We appreciate you. I'm overwhelmed, honestly, and it gladdens me that it's a cut across issue. Now the floor is open. What do you have to say? As a peace advocate, do you see this issue as a burning one in your region? Is this something we need to deal with in our little way? The room is open. If you have questions for the speaker or you have contribution, the time is now, please.
Good evening, everyone. I still remain Ubon Ifyong. I listened to the speaker extensively, and he has spoken very well. In fact, I jot down major points from what it has spoken already, and I'm so glad. And one of those things that he actually pointed out that actually need to contribute is the strong policy and enforcement by government. You see, Nigeria in particular is a kind of a country where they will just, I don't know if just sleep one night and bring up a policies, neither sitting down to look at it extensively, how in fact this policy will benefit the youth. One of such policy was in the past administration, they talked about the feeding programs of secondary school, of primary school rather. And now they talked about in the university, a young graduate as I am, in my 400 level, they introduced a policy known as NELFON, institution loan. The NELFON institution loan actually, according to them, is that the student will pay the loan, and the loan will actually pay their fees, and the loan will cater for some of their need. But they state it very clear, and the youth accepted it and started applying for the loan. But in a twinkle of an eye, we realized that the loan has been hijacked, paying the institutions. Some of this money, in fact, almost 250,000 is being paid to the institution. The other part that they said 20,000 will be paid to those youth. After 1 month, you didn't even see the money again. And they are keeping it for youth as a loan, which invariably, when you get employed, you pay that loan. You see, those are the things that make youth provoke anger. And this money you have been borrowed to be doing this, and you don't do it. You see, the problem that they said youth. Yes, youth will continue to get annoyed because when they see the elderly people, we're supposed to impact positively on the life of the youth in areas of employment. Imagine that every year the NYC will be youth majority institutions rather will be graduating majority of youth to the labor market. Going there, they know very well, some of the companies, institutions, ministries, and private know very well that these young youth that are coming out from the institution, they don't, in fact, they don't have, let's say, years 5 years experience, but they will include in 5 years experience. How do you expect a person that is a young graduate that is graduating from the institution coming out to the labor market to be getting 5 years experience in any of the field that they are applying for? So these are the issues that actually start provoking the youth. And it's so much thankful for foundations, organizations like SERAP, because we have made advocacy and awareness whereby we are trying to plead with the youth to understand and work stealing towards the right path by air out their view digitally, air out your view through writing, through public interest litigation, so that the government can know and retrieve their steps. So those are the issues in Nigerian the youth is having. Talking about the insecurity in the South, yes, we know very well that in South Nigeria, precisely Akwa Ibom and other Niger Delta, those Niger Delta militants, what happened to their, what leads to the risings of all pumping of the pipeline? Because the government, having extracted the crude oil to pay the compensation, agreed. So if government will listen and truly get into the hearings of, I think Nigeria will be a better place because we don't have any other.
You need to round up. Give chance.
Oh, thank you so much. I don't have much. I've done. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Blessing, we saw your hand. Can you speak? Thank you.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. Yes, I'm here, please. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
Please
great.
speak.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. We've all made very, very good points. I wrote a notebook full of everything Mr. Victus had said because he was echoing a lot of my thoughts. And I really appreciate how concise your presentation was. Now, this is what I'm going to add. Like Mr. Victus has said, that violence, they were not born with it. It is not something that we are born with or born into. It is something that we learn through what is obtainable in our society when we come into it. So since we understand, a lot of us have said it already, across Africa, our leadership is not ideal across Africa. We understand that. However, since that is not something we can immediately change, what then can we do? And that's why I appreciated some of the points Mr. Victus gave about education and awareness, particularly. And I'm talking about that because that is where my work is centered: leadership, education, and awareness. And how do we go about this? We go about this by making sure that that culture of violence that already exists, that culture of quick money that already exists, it is something that phases away with this generation and coming generations, that the next generation of Africans, of Nigerians that are growing up in our communities do not see violence as a way out, do not see violence as quick access to money or status. That is what we should begin working with. And how can we achieve this? First off, our national curriculum, is it founded on the basis of peace building? What exactly is the primary objective of our national curriculum? If it is just to learn arithmetic and to learn literacy and to have the best spoken students and the best spoken Nigerians or people across the world, it is in those things that we have gotten it wrong. Our national curriculum should be founded on the basis of peace building. If we want to build a nation and a region of peace builders, of people who understand peace, then it should show in the curriculum we're using, it should show in the subject we are teaching across our classrooms. So that is something that can be changed, something that could be worked on, our curriculum. What are we doing about it? Every child who graduates from our classrooms, every child who graduates from primary school, from secondary school, from university, are they coming out with that mindset of being peace builders? Or are they just coming out as people who want to get the next available opportunity to make money? So that is where the mindset change would begin. There's a statistic that says that as much as there are so many Nigerian children who are out of school, but up to 75% of Nigerian children are currently enrolled in primary school. There is no other organization that brings together as many Nigerians or as many Africans than the classroom. So why don't we start there? Start with our classroom, start with our curriculum, start with the subjects we teach in school. If that is their primary objective, making sure that people are connected to peace, making sure that people are separated from armed violence, as much as government is a challenge. But then when we continue to build young people from our primary school curriculum who are bothered and care about peace, about social justice, about empathy, then we are building future leaders who are going to phase away the cycle and the culture of violence. So that's my own thoughts and that's my own opinion. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much, Blessing. Really, really taking, and it shows also you're with us on these worries. Something you said that touched me. Violence is something that is inherited. We grew up seeing it. It's even starting from the home, brothers fighting each other and sisters, and it looks normal. With this, thank you so much. I see Leon. Leon, you have just 1 minute.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this event. Thank you so much for this event. But I have one question only. What are the specific strategies to keep a new generation for peace in Africa and in the grassroots? Yeah, that is only my one question I have. Yeah, thank you so much.
Is going to ask us question way forward. We have a section for that, and I see a lot of chat coming up. Let's do the work. Let's do the work, not talking it out. We have the section where we rub that mind. And it shows that this is an issue of concern cutting across. I see a Kenya chat talking about northern Nigerian, now 10 people has been killed in armed violence. So I don't know if Leon, your hand is still up, so that will give chance to Giz to make a presentation. If there's no other contribution, please, because of time, we don't need to keep you. I know some are back from work, some are itching to eat and stuff like that. Please, the chat is open. In the chat box, make your contribution, because the D is what can we do together. Thank you so much. Guy, take over your next topic. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Jane. Thanks one more for the contribution that are coming up. We are really having a great conversation. So it's a great honor for me to be part of this important conversation that's hosted by our Nigeria chapter, especially as we mark the International Day of Peace. So allow me to say a few words about World Beyond War. Our mission is clear and ambitious: to abolish the institution of war itself. So what we do is that we oppose all forms of war, weapons and violence, and we work to build a just and sustainable peace. We operate through a decentralized organizing model, meaning that volunteers and partners around the world lead actions in their own communities, always connected to the larger mission of ending war. As of this month, September 2025, people in 203 countries have signed our Declaration of Peace to call on a safer world. We have 51 chapters of World Beyond War globally and 121 affiliate organizations, along with more than 1,000 organizations that have signed the pledge. The chapters and affiliates are at the very heart of our work, and they are essentially the main pillars of preventing violence as we talk on our theme today. So a chapter is like a branch of World Beyond War that carries the name, brand, the mission of World Beyond War, and works closely with the global team. And an affiliate is an independent organization that collaborates with World Beyond War on our common goals. So together, these networks give us the ability to act locally while thinking globally, to share lessons and build momentum for a world without war. So our theory of change rests on three interconnected pillars that are education, nonviolent action, and media work. So education, what we do is to debunk the myth of war and present proven nonviolent alternatives, which includes like books, courses, webinars, fact sheets, and study guides that you can find in our website, WorldBeyondWar.org. In our nonviolent action, to answer the question that Leon just raised, so we do campaigns that that are shaped by local context, whether it can be diverting a city from weapons, shutting down a military base, organize rallies, vigils, blockage, and we do engage a young person in all these campaigns and actions on the ground. In the media work, we raise awareness on shifting public narrative and amplifying grassroots voices. So every chapter contributes to these pillars depending on local needs and opportunities. Each chapter collects signatures for the declaration of peace and organize events. Like the Nigeria chapter is currently organizing this conversation to talk about the importance of preventing armed violence. So World Beyond War works with chapters, as I mentioned, and also with affiliate. So I'm going to mention a few actions that some of our chapters have been doing to build peace. So why this is important for peace building? Because prevention is not an abstract idea, it is a practical work. It is building movements before violence escalates. It is about shaping laws before weapons spread. It's also about engaging young people before they are recruited into a cycle of violence. As one speaker mentioned earlier, that if we do not engage young people in peace building work, they will be engaged in armed violence and be recruited in armed groups, which where we actually lose them. So through our chapters and affiliate, we create the conditions for prevention and empowering communities with knowledge, with tools, and solidarity. So that is why prevention is not just one element of peace building. It is actually the foundation on which sustainable peace can build. So it is better, as we say, to prevent war before it happens. So what our chapters have been doing in Cameroon, for example, the chapter works to counter the resurgence of violence among young people and the decline of human values. So rooted in peace education, the chapter has carried out daily awareness on humanitarian impact of nuclear weapons and are active in campaigns to abolish these weapons. And there is another campaign that the chapter is engaged on to still in the prevention area, is the campaign to stop deadly killer robots. So as part of the Global Peace Education Action for Impact program, the young people from the chapter conducted a research on the role of young persons and women in the peace process, showing how prevention begins with knowledge and participation. In Burundi, our chapter builds on a youth-led initiative to foster reconciliation and address the root causes of violence. focusing on healing and nonviolent approaches to communities still scared by conflict. And one of the core programs of the chapter is peace clubs with to engage students in learning about peace and creating spaces to talk about peace, and also to learn nonviolent communications. In the Gambia, for example, young leaders are organizing forums. They recently organized a youth forum on killer robots, bringing together parliamentarians, youth groups, and civil society to raise awareness of the risks of autonomous weapons and to call for stronger policies rooted in prevention. In Senegal, the chapter has mobilized students, activists, and educators around campaigns to promote peace education and to resist militarism in West Africa. And the chapter of Senegal has led major campaigns to close bases in Africa, for instance, in Djibouti. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, we have our South Kivu chapter, represented here by the coordinator Leon. And there, the chapter works at the community level to address the devastating impact of armed groups and proliferation of armed weapons through awareness raising during webinars. And the chapter also designed a campaign letter to call on international community to support the end of wars in the DRC that has killed people for the last 30 years. And the chapter is also promoting disarmament and community dialogues as tools for prevention. So we are grateful for this important work that Leon and his members have been doing in DR Congo. And in Nigeria, the chapter has been leading powerful conversation like this one we are having today on the urgent need to prevent armed violence, empower youth, and build peace build peace beyond fear. So these are just a few illustrations. We have about 17 chapters who in their own areas are doing this kind of actions. We have chapters in Togo, in Zimbabwe, in Mali, in Malawi, Libya, in Ethiopia, in Burkina Faso. We have a lot of chapters already. So there are just, together, these chapters show that prevention is not, as I said, an abstract concept. It is happening every day with these little actions that actually do not seem important, but at the end of the day are really meaningful action with great impact. So I'm going to close not to keep the floor so long. So when we say act now for a peaceful world, as our Nigeria chapter is inviting us to have this as important takeaway, we are not speaking in slogans only. We are actually pointing real grassroots youth-driven work happening through World Beyond War chapters and affiliate worldwide. So we count on all organizations that are here online to follow our webpage to see what other actions we are undertaking on this International Day of Peace and what we do in Africa. And very soon we'll be sharing invites to listen our third virtual conference that we do annually at the end of November 27 and 28. So we'll see the invitation coming soon, maybe in 2 days. We'll sign up to see what our chapters do and how we collaborate with organizations and other communities to make peace happen. So thank you so much for your kind attention. Jane, are you there? Maybe your microphone is okay.
Yeah, I thought it's open. Yes, Guy, thank you for refreshing us again. and saying wonderfully what all of us are doing across Africa. Please, if you are new to this platform, it's a place you need to belong. It's a place it's a think tank. It's people that do it with their own, pushing to make sure, like Blessing said, recreating this mindset and building the generation where peace reigns, not violence. I don't know if you have any question, contribution, forgive, maybe, on the explanation of World Beyond War activities, or on the concerns topic shared that prevention in our own here is better than prevention is better than treatment, is very, very cheap and inexpensive than treatment, than management. The floor is open if you have any question or contribution, so that we'll move to the next section. Did anyone hear me? Am I freezed? Did anyone hear
Yes.
me?
Yes, we hear you well.
Okay, do you have any, or you understood very clearly what Mr. Guy, who is the African National Coordinator, are doing this with us this evening here in Nigeria? But if you have, maybe you can chat so that we can move on. We're trying to round off here. I'm coming back again on this topic, reclaiming peace and building people movements beyond fear. Now, I don't have presentation or any talk. It's gonna be two of us, all of us talking it here. You quite agree with me as a civil society practitioner, peace building advocate, social justice advocate. In any way you're advocating for a common issues that is affecting the world, making the world so violent, you can see it's not fought the way we were doing it before. Now everyone is beclouded by fear. When the presenter was making, he said, building a stronger policies and institution. The other contributor says public trust has been declined. Now, someone chatted in the chat box, let's do the walking and not the talking. Most often time when we come here in this kind of platform, dialogue platform, we talk, we reason together, it stops there. Here in World Beyond War, we do it. Now with this, I want you let's be open for 20 more minutes. How has our activism, how has our advocacy, many of us from the first speaker to the last, we're talking about public education, awareness creation, campaigns, and all stuff. How has it been in this recent time? What is the way forward? What do you think we should do now? Do we close our hands, keep saying we are peace builder, and things are getting worse every day and every day? What is this tiny effort? I know we cannot change the world. We cannot do exceptionally. We are trying our best. What is that one thing you feel that when we do it in a little way, it can make an impact, it can change the little world we are? The floor is open. Please speak your mind. Thank you so much. If anyone hear me, I'm open. We are open to listen to you. Thank you. Okay, Guy, are your hand up or you thumbing up? Okay,
Tom,
Blessing. Oh, oh, thank you. Blessing, do you want to speak? Okay. Now it's us, please. We're open. What are that tiny efforts, or what do you think we can do to resuscitate the peace that is really winding down? Violence is taking over. Do we keep our hands clustered? What is these tiny things do you think we should do so that we can reclaim peace? Remember, the theme of this International Peace Day is saying, act now for a peaceful world. It's an individual calling, it's a collective calling. Now we need to act. We don't need to cluster hands. We have contributed, we have talked it. Now, can we do it? The floor is open.
so anyone feel free to open your microphone and just speak.
You said what?
Yes, I'm just calling on everyone to be free to open the microphone and speak. I see Blessing open the microphone.
Yeah, hello.
Okay,
Thank you so much. Yes, please. I just wanted to get clarification. Are you asking what we are currently doing, or what do you think we can do? Sorry, I think I need that clarification to
Okay.
know how to respond.
Now here, we have reasoned together, we have rubbed mind, we have talked it out. Now we
Yeah.
don't want to, because the topic is talking about reclaiming peace and building the people movement without fear. Fear is beclouding all of us. Fear of death, fear of this, fear of that. Then we are saying, in the non-violent way, in the resilient way, what do you think? Because this is our business. As a civil society personnel, practitioner, advocate, in diverse thematic area we are in this peace building. We can't cluster our hands and see things getting down. What are those tiny efforts? What do you think? What do you think, Blessing, in your own, out of this gathering, what do you think we should do? We are talking about youth and armed violence, prevention, and control.
Thank you so much for that clarification. So I'm going to first begin by referring back to what Mr. Victus had said. I think he gave us very concise points. I think he gave up to 4 points of things we can begin to do and things that are already being done, but we can contribute to. He talked about education and awareness, talks about employment, gainful employment for young people, especially. Talk about community-based prevention, even going ahead to give us examples of ones that have worked. So I feel that from those solutions he preferred or talked about or discussed with us, everyone has a role to play in contributing to any of those four. Like my work currently empowers young people. He talked about education and awareness a lot, and that is something that I am very, very invested in because I understand that there is a lot of fear and there is a lot of complaints. First of all, there's a lot of complaints from all quarters about the government, about the government, about the government. However, since that is not something we can change or control at the moment, we can instead focus our energy and resources on the things that we can actually influence. And what are those things? My work currently centers on influencing young people toward good, showing them examples of, my work basically helps young people to envision a peaceful future because most young people in Nigeria, even from as early as 7 and 8 years old, they have experienced violence in one form or another. And that is very, very scary to think about. So I always encourage young people who I am in contact with to envision a peaceful world. And then we begin to collectively work toward that, whatever it may be. Whether it is they want to see more social justice around them, we begin to work out steps what do you think you would see around you in your community that will make you feel like, oh, justice is, there's a culture of justice around you? And then we begin to work out what can be my contribution to that. So young people seeing themselves beyond just victims of circumstances, but seeing those challenges as opportunities for change making, opportunities for contribution, seeing themselves beyond victims to solution bringers. That is very, very important. So they are not static and just accepting whatever comes to them. In that way, when they see themselves as static and whatever happens to me, I just have to react to it, that is when they are more prone to violence, because things will continue to happen to them. However, when they stand up and see themselves as solution finders, solution bringers to challenges that they currently face or communities around them face, then they can face those challenges head on, whatever form of it may be, whether it is social justice, whether it is gender equality, helping them see that as youths, they have power, whether it is using social media, using the different platforms they have, or engaging with the leaders in their particular community. I usually encourage them to start with the smallest leadership role in your community. Go seek out that person, wherever they may be. You don't have to go to the chairman of your local government. Start from the councillor of your ward. If there is a challenge in your community, the councillor of your ward is more accessible to you. If you want to have a discussion, if you want to collaborate, start with that person and then work your way up from there. People at the top will most times listen to people who already have evidence of their work. So whatever challenge you're trying to solve in your community, start from the smallest, start from the people who it is affecting the most. That is what I tell young people. And then as social advocates ourselves, peace advocates ourselves, who are looking to build these peaceful communities, we have to make sure that we are not just talking about young people in passing, but we are bringing them into this kind of discussions to get their thoughts. Because another thing that I always like to talk about is when we talk about peace building and development, there are different definitions according to different people. So there are people who grew up in a community I grew up in, for instance, I grew up in Ajegunle in Lagos, Nigeria. That's a slum community that's very known for gang violence. So I grew up around a lot of gang violence. However, gang violence was my challenge growing up, but it may not be the challenge of peace for someone who lives in Ikoyi or VGC. So that is why I always advocate and encourage young people to look at individual challenges and try to solve it. Once everyone is working on the challenges of their particular community, then Nigeria as a whole is already solving its problems by ourselves. So I'm just going to end on that note that education and awareness is absolutely critical for the time we are in, helping young people see themselves beyond victims of circumstances to solution providers, giving them the tools, influencing them to solutions. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Blessing, a wonderful one. Thank you for also, one thing I gather from all you said is we don't need to wait for collective efforts. What is it, that tiny effort? I believe in the tiny steps. What is it as an organization or as an individual? And especially, like you said, working with the young people, working in their minds, changing that perception and that inherited violence. Thank you so much. And please feel free. I don't know your status with us as member. We have a chapter. Are you coming from Nigeria? Because I couldn't get your introduction. This will be so instrumental because education, peace education is very key to us too. Thank you very much. A question was raised by RE. I didn't get the name. He was asking a question, and that should be centered on you. You say, it's Nigerian World Beyond War. Okay, sorry, my site told me. Okay, what is Nigerian World Beyond War chapter? How do you establish and strengthen peace network across the country? Yes, RE Please, this is what I see from your Google. I don't know your name, but permit me to address you this. I saw your contribution and it's very key. We are national network, all regions. All you do is to be part of this network, and we reach out to other networks. We have program, we reach out to other networks. We collaborate with other networks. We work along the other network. You quite agree with me, Nigeria is huge. Often we call for membership, but for now we are strengthening ourselves to be where we need to be before we open again for membership. So we have members, we have a platform, social media platform, we have other network, and we have a global network, which is all over the world. We have the African, Latin American, Europe, and stuff like that. Do I answer your question? That if there's other question to be asked, please feel free to reach me. Thank you so much. I don't know if there's other response, but I think a lot has been said. A lot has been said, and Blessing has rounded up with us. As we think of collectively doing something, what is that thing you're doing as individual? Remember, we need to reclaim peace. Peace is no longer there in our families. Peace is no longer in their communities. Peace is no longer in our country as Nigeria. Peace is no longer found across our continent, Africa. Is this a deliberate effort or is a conscious waking up? I don't know if there's anyone who wants to make contribution, but I think a lot have been said. It's all about doing it now. Guy, are you there? Because this meeting has brought to a close.
Yes.
Except somebody wanna
I'm here. I think we are.
Yes.
I think we are getting close to the end of the meeting. And there's one more comment I wanted to add about the question of World Beyond World, how we work. You are welcome to visit our website, WorldBeyondWar.org, to see if you're an organization, you can become an affiliate of World Beyond War. If you are in Nigeria, you can join the chapter of World Beyond War in Nigeria. If you are in other part of countries where, of the other countries where we have chapters, you can join those chapters locally and contribute voluntarily to making peace. And if in your country there is no chapter of World Beyond War, you are also welcome to start one. So you can just reach out to me. I'm going to write my email address again in the chat box so that you can write to me and get started a chapter or get involved in our work in any way in your own capacity. So here's my email address in the chat box. Thanks. So Jane, maybe you can conclude if you don't have anyone to take in the floor.
Right, everyone, thank you for your time. Sorry, I will apologize, but it's a perfect one because we'll find evening may be good for everyone based on our time zone. Thank you so much for your wonderful contribution. Speakers, you are wonderful. Thank you for putting out this good topic and making it concise, deepening our understanding, and reawakening our consciousness to step up our actions. Remember, it's International Peace Day, and the theme is saying, act now for a peaceful world. With this, I say bye. Please, if it's evening, rest well. If it's morning, take your breakfast. If it's afternoon, take your lunch. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sujane. Goodbye to everyone.
Thank you. Goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.